Rosé. We have got Bisol, and we have got also the VS Andy, Rosé mini tomatoes. I think they're all 2019. No, 2020 from the Rosé, 2019 from Bisol, and 2019 from VS Andy. Let me bring in Stefania. Was that? Come around here. Here we go. I'm waiting for you, Stefania. Right here. Hello, hello, hello. All nicely chilled. Really lovely. Well, really, really good. Waiting for Stefania to join us. Makeup time or hair check in the mirror. Or she can't get connected. One of those. One of those will be the excuse. Oh, needs to try again. Let me try again. Around here. Let me put this here and accepting your request. We do it that way around. Okay, this looks better. This looks better. Maybe. Want to get them open? No, we're missing Stefania still, so bear with us. We will find young Stefania. I'm going to try again. Waiting for Stefania. Oh, is that better, Stefania?
Can you hear me, Chris?
I can hear you. Yes.
Let me see.
Yes.
But I don't know if you can see me also or no.
Yes, I can see you and I can hear you.
Okay, because I can see myself. I don't know why. I just can see you. I don't know, Chris.
You can't see me. Well, I can see you and I can see me, and I assume everybody else can see me and you.
Yeah. Yeah, nice. Let me see. Okay, that's fine, because I don't know why I can't see me, Chris. I don't know if the shot is correct, because I can see my face on the cell phone. I don't know.
Well, it's okay. I think we're okay. We can see each other. I can see you and the audience can see you. That's important.
Yes.
Good.
So I'm ready for this Prosecco Rosé tasting today, Chris.
I am, yes, I am ready. I just got to get this out of the printer. So I've got my notes here as well. Yes, I've got the VS Andy.
Me too.
And I've got the Bisol.
Yes.
And I've got the Rosé.
I don't have, unfortunately.
Well, what have you got, Stefania?
I have Bisol, see?
Bisol,
Villa Sandy, and Bottega.
And you got the Bottega. I don't have the Bottega. It didn't arrive here in England. So obviously you'll have to taste the Bottega, and I will do the Rosé, which I'm very happy to do, and we'll share our tasting notes on those. And I'll imagine the Bottega, and you can imagine the Rosé.
Okay, that's nice. That's nice, because it's a wonderful day today, sunny, lovely temperature. And I think it's kind of spring temperature ideal for Prosecco Rosé. Prosecco Rosé is wonderful, Chris. I'm so happy they decided to create this kind of Prosecco in addition to the regular Prosecco DOC, because it's kind of unique wine. Then I hope you and people that live abroad can enjoy and appreciate the quality of this amazing sparkling wine.
Well, I think the combination between the two grapes are very good. So the Glera grape and the Pinot Noir, they balance together in a nice harmony, I would say. That makes this wine very special, the Rosé Prosecco. It's just a shame for the Prosecco DOC and the Rosé that they was going to launch it last year, right in the middle of the pandemic. So it's had a very soft and slow kind of launch. And we hope that when things open back up, the Rosé will really start to hit the public. So they'll become more aware of it. And this will become a very popular wine, I believe, especially with Prosecco lovers, which there are many from around the world. I mean, nearly 500 million bottles a year are produced by the Prosecco DOC area each year, approximately that amount, and that has grown and grown over the years. And a small proportion are Rosé Prosecco, but I see that number increasing as the popularity of the Prosecco Rosé increases. Yes. But you've also got some foods as well with you as well.
Yes,
Stefania.
but I want to reveal now because it's a surprise for you, for our fish lovers. I will tell you later during the tasting, but I'm so proud of myself because even though, you know, Chris, I'm not a really good chef, not at all, I'm better as a sommelier, I made it by myself, this surprise for you and for our fish lovers.
You're not a good chef, so
no.
We have to put that. I'll write that down for the future. She's not a good cook, so we don't go to your house for dinner.
I know that it sounds a little bit unusual being an Italian woman, but I'm not good, Chris, at all. I have to admit my fault. It's not my, no, it's not my cup of tea. I'm sorry. But anyway, we have to talk about the wines, so we can get on talking about this Prosecco Rosé, if you don't mind.
Okay, it's not my cup of tea is a very good English phrase. Is it the same in Italian? Do they say that in Italy?
No, in Italian we say something like a phrase, something non fa per me. It's kind of sounds familiar, kind of. It's not my cup of tea. Oppure, let me think. I'm not really good. I mean, non sono molto brava. I'm not really good. It's kind of similar meaning. Oh, it's not my cup of tea. No, I think there is some specific phrase to translate it.
It's not my glass of Prosecco. That's what we can say. It's not my glass of Prosecco.
Yes, also yes.
Good for that, didn't we? So look, let's talk about what is Italy's most famous sparkling wine, which is the Prosecco, Prosecco DOC primarily. But today we're going to look at a special kind of category now that has been released in the Prosecco DOC, exclusive to this region, which is the Rosé, the Millesimato, so the vintage Rosé, of which we've got 2019 here today with Bisol and Villa Sandy. I've got 2020 with Le Rouget. I don't know what is on the Bottega. Is Bottega 2020, Stefania?
2020, it's a Villa Sandy, yes.
Oh, right, is it the 2020? Yes, I'm blind. 2020 Villa Sandy, 2019 for the Bisol, and the Rouget is the 2020. So we're going to taste the 2019 and the 2020 as well. What else is there? So obviously, Prosecco is all the way from the kind of the Mediterranean influence, the Adriatic Sea, all the way through up to the hills and the mountains of the Dolomites. So the Prosecco region has a nice expression of terroir from the alpine freshness to the warm, the kind of the breeze coming in from the sea as well. But you actually live in Italy. You're far better acquainted to the terroir. Did you want to explain the terroir of the Prosecco DOC region?
Yes,
Stefania?
of course. I live near Verona, so Verona is not an area for producing Prosecco, but it's not too far because the territory is located in the northeast part of Italy and includes two regions, Friuli Venezia Giulia and Veneto. Friuli Venezia Giulia includes 4 cities, Trieste, Udine, Gorizia, Pordenone. Instead, Veneto, this is the region where I live, includes 5 provinces. From north is Belluno, Venezia, Treviso, Vicenza, and Padova. So it's a very big area.
And you can certainly tell who the teacher is in our partnership. Who is the tutor is Stefania, and she's pointing all of the regions out very, very nicely and saying it in a wonderful Italian accent as well. So 9 regions for the Prosecco DOC, is that correct?
Yes, that's correct. And it's a very big area, Chris, because it includes 24,450 hectares, producing, as you said before, 500 million bottles. So very, very big area.
And a lot of those wines are obviously drank in Italy because they love the Prosecco, of course, but also globally, all around the world, from the USA all the way across to Eastern countries, to Australia, maybe Taiwan, China, all of the countries. England, of course, loves the Prosecco. So it has a global fan base, and rightly so. And it's not only the cheap kind of bottles that you just find in the supermarket. There are some splendid smaller producers, lesser known producers that are producing gold medal winning Proseccos. But today we've got, well, I've got 3 very well known brands. Well, I've got the Via Sandy, probably one of the biggest producers of Prosecco. We have got the Bisol, again, a very well known, very highly respected winery. And a lesser known but still making a good impression is the Rosé, which I only found recently. My friend Lyndall Phillips, the UK brand ambassador for Prosecco DOC, introduced me to them. So good guy to know if you're in the Prosecco world. What else have I got here? Those are all the facts that I've got, but we need to speak about the terroir. So what's special about the terroir, do you think, Stefania?
I think Chris, the most important component when it comes to Prosecco is the hills, because if you had the chance to visit not also the most original area located in the province of Treviso, I mean Valdobbiadene, Cartizze, those areas, but all the area, there are always beautiful hills, and it's nice to enjoy up and down by bicycle or driving car, or even enjoy a nice walk, because you can see hills everywhere, and vineyards. It's kind of I would say a sea of vineyards, Chris, because there are vineyards everywhere. In the soil, it kind of marl sandstone, because especially in the area in the province of Trieste, because once in that area there was a sea, so it was covered by the sea, so the soil kind of sandstone soil, and this gives Prosecco very unique minerality. As you tasted during the previous episode, and kind of the freshness, Chris, it's unmistakable, because you have your palate keeps on salivating, and you have a pleasant freshness and crisp, zesty freshness because of the soil, because the climate.
And obviously it's a very young style of wine, so unlike champagne that has a totally different production method and requires to be stored, and sometimes is even better drunk a few years after the grapes have been picked. The Prosecco is all about, as you say, Stefania, the freshness and experiencing the fruit flavors from the grape in the bottle. And usually, most times, you're better off drinking this bottle within 1 year of purchasing it. When the wine producer makes the wine and they sell the wine, they want you to enjoy it today rather than tomorrow. And again, we've got three fresh bottles here to taste. Did we want to start? Which one did you want to start with? I'll let you decide.
Maybe Bisol, Chris, if you don't mind.
Yeah, Bisol. Yeah, I've been to Bisol, lovely winery, and they've got nice plots, lovely vineyards, and a very special vineyard up in the DOCG region, in the Katowice. Very friendly brand, very well known, big producers in the region, and globally they sell their wines. So, and I think I've been a few times there myself. Have you been to Bisol?
Yes,
Stefania?
I visited. Yes, I visited Bisol many times. It's wonderful winery, not too big. I mean, it's located in Valdobbiadene, and you visit the winery. You have just behind you the hills. It's very nice, Chris. Very lovely. People are always very friendly, and the vineyards are cultivated like a garden. It's beautiful, in my opinion. It's a pleasure to have the opportunity to go there and enjoy maybe a weekend in the Prosecco area, Chris, because it's amazing.
I totally agree. If I could have a second house, I would have it in the Prosecco region. In fact, I probably would say I'd like my first house to be in the Prosecco region.
I didn't say anything, Chris, about the grape, because as you know, maybe I think our Fitz lovers know, the grape used to make Prosecco is Glera grape. And Glera is an ancient and indigenous grape, Chris, that has been cultivated in this specific area since the Roman times. So it's kind of unique thing that we have in this specific area that makes the wine Prosecco so unique, in my opinion, because it's something that belongs to the past and have a long ancient history. And now we have the chance to taste a rosé version, thanks to the addition of a little bit of Pinot Noir, Pinot Nero.
Exactly. So the Pinot Noir is the black grape or the red grape, and that's the skin pigmentation, the color gives us the rosé.
So the color is amazing, Chris. It's kind of, lovely, maybe onion peel color, but very delicate. I like it so much.
I like the bottle from Bisol because they have clear glass. That's rather than the dark glass. And I think it allows us to see the colour before we buy the wine. So I give them a thumbs up for the clear glass.
Yes, I like it very much. Let me see. I'm so curious because it's my first Prosecco Rosé from Bisol, Chris. So I'm so curious. I'm so excited.
It's good to be curious, especially in the world of wine. Curiosity.
Wonderful. It's amazing. I'm so happy to taste this wine today, Chris, because they are brand new, and also because they are so delicate and refined and very nice to enjoy.
Well, again, they've chosen, obviously, it's the Minnesota, so vintage, which will mean all of the grapes from that 1 year are used to make the Prosecco Rosé.
Let me see. Perlage is very nice. It's very lively. See, Chris. Let me see. I think the bouquet is a floral character. Absolutely.
I was going to say orange peel. I got a little bit of orange peel.
Yes, absolutely. I can feel, Chris, kind of rose note and lily of the valley also.
Lily, well, you've got some good words there. Yes, lily of the valley. Nice.
I love flowers, Chris. I used
I
to train my nose walking up and down the hills and smell everything.
Smelling the flowers, the blossom and the flowers, especially at this time of the year. We've got some nice flowers, there's lovely blossom on the trees, especially for fruit trees. We've got all of the blossom out. Are the buds? Because obviously, currently there was bad weather in the Burgundy region, and obviously the Champagne region. So they've had all of the fires literally burning across the vineyards.
I saw.
But in Italy, have the buds have appeared? But have they started to open, or they're still protected?
Yeah, they're just started to open just a little bit. It depends on kind of grape, because I saw yesterday, for example, Trebbiano was about to open. Instead, other variety, Garganica, not really. Prosecco a little bit. I saw Merlot, Cabernet also a little bit about to open up. Yes. It's nice.
If they opened up, then they're a little bit more vulnerable to the frost and to the very, very weather.
Yes. So let me taste.
I'm just going to pour some more in, just to get some bubbles going, as I say.
Lovely, Chris. I like it. It's a wonderful, Chris, because the combination, in my opinion, is perfect. Because it's, if I'm not wrong, it's 85% Glera grapes and 50% Pinot Noir. And the combination is perfect because I can appreciate the freshness and the fruity character of the Glera grapes. And at the same time, I can see the structure, this typical structure, the body, due to the presence of Pinot Nero. It's a perfect combination.
The Pinot Noir, the Pinot Nero, I certainly can feel here. I taste the skin. It's got a very big influence of the Pinot Nero in there. But the Glera is still there, so you have got your slight bit of apple pear character. But you've got a blossom. I think you've got like a pink flower, maybe as you said, rose petal. But you've got the red berries. I've got red berries coming through, darker berries. It's not so much strawberry, but more the red berry, maybe even the ripe.
Cranberry, maybe, Chris.
Cranberry, yeah, no, you're right. That sounds better. I agree. Cranberry more so, yeah.
Yeah, very nice. It's very beautiful bouquet and very delicate and rich in aromas, Chris. But
it's not too sweet, which is a good thing. It's not too sweet because sometimes Proseccos, if they've been mass produced, can have added sugars that makes it a bit too sweet for my liking. Here they're using purely the expression of the grape. So any sweetness in this glass for me is coming from the Glera and from the juices, from the pulp of the Pinot Nero as well. Nicely done, nicely balanced wine.
Yeah, so absolutely, yes, I like it. It's it's perfect. As I said earlier, it's a perfect combination between Glera and the Pinot Noir. It's a very harmonic combination, Chris. I really like it. Wonderful. I'm so happy I tasted my first Prosecco Rosé from Visol.
Well, you can see what Prosecco does to people. Look at Stefania's happiness. So you know what to buy your partner, be it a gentleman or a lady, that you need to buy Prosecco. It can do.
Yes, it's wonderful. The color is wonderful. As you see, the color, you're already happy. Then you have you smell and you appreciate the aroma and then the flavor. It's a very, I would say, a wonderful experience, Chris, that you can appreciate and remember and suggest maybe your friends to taste and have this tasting.
Well, I would say for me, the biggest thing is the bottle, because you get the lovely colour. You're tempted to buy, you're tempted to open, you're tempted to pour. And I think that makes it look even more delicate. I think, and I'm not going to say, I'm not happy that these are in dark bottles, but it's hidden. The personality is hidden inside the dark bottles.
Yeah.
For me, if I was a producer of Rosé Prosecco, I would stick to Gianluca here with Bisol and the design of a clear bottle for this wine, because we're not going to store this for long, so the light damage will be fairly minimal if it's stored correctly. Usually the wineries put the wines in the dark bottle so it doesn't have the influence by any light,
exactly.
unnatural or natural lights. But
Exactly.
really good. It's nice balance, not too sweet, nice fruit characters, but touch dry fruit characters to it. Nice. It's very fresh and elegant, nicely chilled. So make sure this wine is nicely chilled, and a nice job for a good advert for Prosecco DOC Rosé Millesimato from the guys, the team at Bisol.
Yes, of course, I agree with Chris. I agree. Then let's move on with the second, Chris.
See, I told you who's in charge. You can hear who's in charge, can't you?
Okay, that's my honor. So we can taste il Fresco Rosé Millesimato 2020, because I like to take to compare the previous vintage with this current vintage 2020.
Of course, yeah, we'll do that. No problem. So Villa Sandy again. I've been lucky enough to have visited Villa Sandy probably more times than I've visited my home house. A wonderful winery. They produce an awful lot of different styles of Prosecco, including obviously the Rosé. They have still wines, and they're a nice place for consumers to visit, because they are open to consumers if you book to go and see them, and you can also stay at their lovely hotel too, and again located in the Prosecco region, about 45-minute drive from the airport of Venice. Now I'm just starting to open my bottle, Stefania.
Yes, I'm ready. I can pour anyway. Yes. Different color, Chris.
Let me just see if it's correct. I'm going to pour this and I'm going to compare the color. Wait for the bubbles. Always very good bubbles with the Villa Sandy around the rim. Very creamy pelage, very creamy kind of texture. I'm waiting for the bubbles to evaporate, and I'm going to look at the color, which has less intensity from the Pinot Nero grape for me. Same for you?
Yes. Yes, it's more delicate. It's always kind of copper color, Chris. But it's this is more intense. This is Bisol, and this is Villa Sandy. So this, I think, is more intense. Is this a little bit less? That's just the color.
I agree. I agree.
Oh, this is a different bouquet, Chris. See?
Very different bouquet.
It's more fruity, in my opinion.
It's typical of the Villa Sandy range, from my point of view. You've got the Glera coming through, the pears, the yellow pear, the yellow apple coming through. You know it's the same consistency through their range, from the Azzolo to the Cartizze to the DOCG, even for their basic range, is the same expression, and its personality again is in the Rosé. It's much more fruity, as you say, Stefania.
Yeah, I can see. I can feel pomegranate notes, and a little bit floral anyway at the end. It's kind of rose also here.
Creamy, do you think? I've got creaminess on the nose.
Yes. There's something, Chris, something spicy, a little bit, something that tickle my nose, something spicy.
Yeah, possibly. I understand where you come. Is it cinnamon? Maybe a very touch.
Maybe cinnamon, yes.
And you've been to Villa Sandy as well, haven't you?
No,
Stefania?
unfortunately, no. I know the winery. I mean, I never visited the winery. I perfectly know where it's located because once I was driving and I saw the winery on my left, but at the time I didn't stop. So I have to visit this winery. Yes, I know, because it's a wonderful place. I know, I know.
It is. The wines are fantastic. The place is amazing, especially with their villa, their big kind of mansion. And then they're a massive producer of Prosecco, millions of bottles, but they're owned by a family. And really, it's the kind of family that you can just talk to. They're very down to earth. They're very successful, but they're very modest as well. Their daughter, Diva, is the international brand ambassador, and she can be found on social media. Again, very approachable. Flavio is the international sales director, very passionate again for the brand. And I think Villa Sandy is a good example of Prosecco DOC wines. But let's do the flavour, because the nose is very attractive.
Yeah, let me taste.
It's Villa Sandy. Yes, it's Villa Sandy for me. Very fruity.
It's very vibrant, Chris. You can see the vibrancy of the bubbles, but in the same time it's silky, very smooth on my palate, silky, with a very pleasant balance between the freshness and, once again, the structure. I can perfectly feel the structure in the body of Pinot Noir. But it's a nice combination also here, see, Chris?
I totally agree with you. Totally agree. You've got the creaminess, the silky texture in the palate, as you said, Stefania. The fruits are doing the work here. So the fruit, as in the grape, is doing the work here to express itself. I don't feel there's any unnatural flavors. So I don't feel there's any added sugar in my opinion. It's the Glera grape and the Pinot Noir grape inside the glass. I don't know what the percentages are for the grapes, Stefania. I feel that there's possibly a little bit less of the Pinot Noir in the Villa Sandy.
Minimum, it has to be 10%. From 10% maximum to 50%. So probably is 10%.
Possibly something, I think it's on the smaller side, but we may be totally wrong. But it's the way that it's expressing itself to us.
Yes.
Yes, very nice.
I also, once again, I can feel that kind of spicy accent and the vibrancy and the lively perlage and the lively bouquet is Villa Sandy Prosecco with Chris. Now I can more appreciate the rose. Can you try again, please? Let me, if you can appreciate the rose more, I think now.
Yes, you've got kind of the perfume. So I've got like pink rose petals. Very nice, fresh, almost like a nice perfume on a lady. You can smell the floral. Very nice.
I'm addicted to roses, Chris, so I perfectly know every kind of rose. I love roses. I can tell you if it is yellow rose, pink rose, red rose, purple rose, just for the smell. So that's my cup of tea.
That's your cup of tea. It's your glass of Prosecco.
Smell is very good, Chris. Think that my students, Chris, I wanted to tell you this. My students always tell me, I will tell you in Italian first, then I will translate you in English. Sì, prof, ma lei è tutta naso. That means, professor, you're all about your nose. That is true, Chris. Because I train my nose a lot during the year, and I like very much smell, remember my brain, and be able to get the aromas as I approach the wine. It's good.
Well, I think people don't always realise that, but to be should we say, a professional wine reviewer, you do need to spend a lot of time smelling different things, and that could be anything from foods or to wood, plastic, metal, nuts, dried fruits, breads, all of these kind of things. And a lot of these products are everyday items. But then sometimes when you're smelling wines, you'll have a very distant memory. And it could be like a sweet that you may have had as a child, or your grandmother baked a cake. So you need to have a very good stored memory of aromas, but then also the flavors. And when you start off tasting wines, and when I started tasting wines and smelling, I was with a few people, I was thinking, I can just smell apple. And that was it. My apple was just apple. But then I was lucky that some people said, when I smell again, what about this? And I thought, oh, that's very clever. So when you're tasting, you have to be very open-minded, but you also have to have very good senses. So when you say, Stefania, it's about your nose. The nose is one of the most important things when it comes to tasting wines. And people may, if I'm in a bar, the first thing I'll do is I'll smell the wine. And most people will think, what are you doing? Just drink it. And I say, well, no, because half the pleasure is all the wonderful aromas that the winemaker has taken time to express with the grapes that he's picked, or she has picked. Yeah. So as you say, yes,
it's the most difficult aspect of the wine also, Chris, to preserve during the fermentation and all the process that takes place after fermentation, because it's very easy to ruin the bouquet, the aromas, if you don't pay good attention to during the process. So it's a challenge every time for the winemaker in order to let the bouquet emerge and preserve the bouquet in order to give us the opportunity to enjoy this wonderful bouquet.
It's a big job for the winemaker, because the winemaker needs to make sure that the quality of the wine is good. But as the years go on, a winemaker or the winery will have a dedicated fan base for their wine. So they have to make sure that no matter what the weather like through the year, that there's a consistency to the style and quality of their wines. You can't make a wine and it goes up and down in different qualities, because you may lose a lot of your audience. So the winemaker needs to try and maintain a consistency every year, but also fight against nature, the weather, the terroir, all of these kind of things. So it's not an easy job to be a winemaker. It's a very stressful job. But, you know, this is why we need to experience the aromas and the flavors, because it justifies the effort that she or he puts into making that wine.
Yes, absolutely. So, Chris, I think it's your turn to taste by yourself. And tell me all your opinion about Le Rouge, because unfortunately I don't have.
Okay. Well, what you can do, Stefania,
maybe we can pour, Chris, two different wines together, and then we can share our opinion.
Well, that's it, Stefania. Give me your glass and I'll pour. I'll pour you some. That's what. It's magic. We can do that.
Yes, of course. So you have Le Rouge. Meanwhile, I have Bottega.
Bottega. I did taste the Bottega. I had a really lovely tasting with the Bottega, and we've done some amazing food. So it was done on Zoom, but I did the Bottega probably a couple of months ago, and it was very, very good. So I want to see your opinion on it.
Yes, that would be my pleasure.
I'm going to pour the Rouge. And I'm not as good as pronouncing Italian names.
Yes, it's perfect. It's Le Rouge. It's perfect pronunciation.
So we've got this one here, and this is the 2020 Millesimato. So I'm back to the same similar colour to the Bisol here. So I've got a much better expression of the Pinot Noir. It's a little bit darker.
Yeah.
It's probably darker than the Bisol, actually.
See, Chris, this is my range of color. Can you see? This is Bisol. This is Villa Sandy. And this is Bottega. As if you are not, I don't know if you are able to see
If
this.
you put the camera down a little bit, Stefania, then we'll be able to see. That's a bit better, I think. No, we only see the top of the glass. We need to come away a little bit.
I told you that I can see myself. See?
Just about, I can see that you've still got all of the creamy polish and the bubbles around it. That's good. There we go. She's got it right now. I can see.
Yes.
Yeah.
They're
Very
nice.
simple.
Yes, nice kind of range and color. But I would say that is always copper hue, but this is more intense, a little bit less. And this last Bottega, it's I think a little bit less intense of the Villa Sandy that
Have you got the bottle, Stefania? Have you got the bottle to show?
Yes.
Is it a clear glass, isn't it? It's clear glass, the Bottega. Yeah.
Yes, it's still classic. I like the label, Chris, because it's always, I mean, all about rosé shades. Here, kind of different pink color.
Normally the Bottega have the gold kind of design.
Ah, nice.
So I've got this one is signed by the owner because I did a lovely tasting a few years back. But this is a Bottega. They have the patent on the gold covering on the bottle as well. So they and they alone have the rights to put gold on the bottle. So it's the same branding with the rosé. They're using clear glass. I haven't been to Bottega myself yet. I would like to at some point. Have you been to Bottega?
No, neither Bottega, I'm sorry. I know the winery. There are many wineries, Chris, here in Italy. It's impossible to visit every winery. I know the winery. I think I was there nearby there a couple of years ago, but I didn't visit the winery. I'm sorry, but I'll do it very soon.
Okay, so let's do the tasting notes. Do you want to start with the aromas for the Bottega Millissimata Rosé?
Yes. Color, as I said, I would say that it is not really copper, but kind of pink mother of pearl, Chris. So, you know, the jewel, pink mother, yes, of pearl, kind of jewel. And let me see the bouquet. Once again, it's fruity aromas, yes. Apple, for sure. Peach, I can feel pearl, but peach. And strawberries, but not kind of strawberries, I would say wild strawberries. Yeah, you know wild strawberries, they small one. Yeah, wild strawberry jam, wild strawberry jam, something that reminds the kind of fruit. Nice bouquet, really nice, very interesting. It also a little bit floral note, Chris, of peach. My peach blossom, yes, definitely peach blossom.
Peach blossom. I don't know what that smells like. We've got a pear tree in our garden, so I can test that in about 2 or 3 weeks' time. I can go there and test it and do what Stefania does on her social media. Take all these nice pictures of the kind of the nature and the floral delights of Italy.
Yes, I told you that I used to train my nose with flowers and everything. Now is the perfect period, Chris, to train your nose in order to appreciate and remind the aromas. The smells of the tree and blossom are amazing, Chris, are amazing.
No, I can imagine. But look, I'll tell you, this one here is. The Rosé is in between the Bisol and the Villa Sandy for me. I've got peach, I've got white, kind of strawberry. It smells fruity. Even coming on, you've got a touch of creaminess, a touch of kind of raspberry pastry even. So that's where I am. So it's in between the Villa Sandy and the Bisol for me. So let's do the tasting notes. You can start first.
Yeah, I already tasted. It's floral once floral, a little bit fruity, but it's fresh, but a little bit less than the others. I think it's more soft and less fresh compared with the previous wines, and a little bit bitter note. Yes, I think it is always the Pinot Noir, Pinot Nero, Pinot Noir that gives the kind of bitter note. Yes, it's different, Chris. It's another kind of Prosecco Rosé. I like it. It's different from the others. Another version, really interesting.
Well, I've got the wild strawberry, white strawberry kind of character. I've got a sea breeze mineral whetstone character as well for me. It's drier in style, but I think like what you had with the Bottega, that's probably because of the skin of the Pinot Noir. So I assume it has 15% of Pinot Noir in it, but I may be wrong. I'm sorry if I am.
Yeah, it's 50.
It's delightful. The flavors are very, very nice. The length isn't as long as the others, but it's fresh. For a glass of wine in the garden during the spring and the summer, at a nice event or with friends and family, it's a very, very good wine. And again, the Prosecco DOC should really be proud of the quality of these wines.
Yes, absolutely.
They're raising the level.
Yes, absolutely. And also, Chris, as I said to my students, it's very interesting to see the differences between or among different kinds of wines, even though they are produced in the same area with the same grapes. And that's because of the winemaker style that he wants to obtain, I think. Also a little bit different exposition of the vineyards located in high or lower hills, maybe a little bit difference about the soil. And I think that you can appreciate that there's a connection among these three wines, but they are different. But you can appreciate the quality, and you can understand that we are talking about Prosecco Rosé, but they are different, and so it's nice to have these different products, Chris, because you can see a wider range of Prosecco Rosé.
They're not the same at all. I think you've got like the Bisol would be on one side, the Via Sandy would be on the other, and then for me, like the Rosé is somewhere in the middle, which means if you prefer fruitier, sweeter wines, you can choose one label. If you prefer a drier, crisper, zesty wine, Prosecco DOC with a tomato, Rosé, you can choose another. So I like the fact, I should have done what you've done. I've only got one, but I have got a set of 6 DOC Prosecco glasses. I didn't think of doing what you've done. So again, Stefania is the teacher, she's the tutor, headmistress. I am the student, so I've still got to learn. My glasses are on my jacket, actually.
Yes.
They're on the table.
Yes. I can see sparkling wines everywhere in your jacket, Chris.
Yes. In the right way to compare, so it's nicely done. So again, to pick a favourite, I don't want to do that. I think they're all very, very good, very, very nice. I would just say anybody edges it is just the design, the clear glass for me works well, but that's just a tiny, tiny percentage that gives them the edge. But they're very, very, very nice. I mean, again, Prosecco DOC here, as I say, this is a very good addition to their family portfolio.
Yes, yes, of course, Chris. We didn't say anything about the glass, Chris, because the glass is very important when you taste a wine in general, but a sparkling one specifically, in my opinion. Because maybe in the past, I mean, in 20 years ago, 10 years ago, maybe the flute was on vogue, but honestly, I don't think Chris is the right glass in order to present the wine, because I think for this kind of Prosecco Rosé, for example, is perfect a large tulip glass like this. See, they are more wider surface, because it allows the bouquet to emerge and express its potential. So it's perfect also because you can more appreciate the perlage and the color, and especially the bouquet. So nice.
Well, yeah, I think the glass, we should take advice from wine experts or the manufacturer of glasses. I mean, for me, usually if I do a tasting, I usually have, which is, I think these are just a sommelier glass. It's a boring looking glass, okay? So it's not going to be sexy or innovative in any way. But what it does for me is, if I put in a small amount of the wine, and I do this, I do, you know, mix the wines in the glass, it allows it to breathe, and it immediately pushes the aromas up for me. I don't have an issue with flutes, and I think the flute glass is good for occasions, at a wedding or at a party, when you're not actually spending too much time smelling or doing it.
Of course.
You're just with friends, you pick up a glass and you sit there
and drink. Yes, of course.
But sometimes downstairs in our tasting room, I just get an old vintage coupe glass, so the bowl. And that's terrible for smelling the wine.
It also for the to do something.
It looks romantic. It's vintage, and I think of old film stars when they've got the glass in their hands. But I think, as Stefania says, the glass is important if you want to experience the whole element of wine, from the aromas to the flavour. The choice of glass is important.
Yes, also serving temperature, Chrissy, I think it's very important. For example, for this Prosecco Rosé, I would suggest 5 degrees. 5 degrees would be nice.
Yeah, I mean, to me, what I usually do is, when I do a tasting of Prosecco, and with you, I've done a few, I put them in the fridge, and then half an hour before our tasting, I put them in the freezer. So when they come out, they're really cold, so then we can speak 20 minutes, and by that time they're up to 7 degrees, such as that. But when they get towards room temperature, especially rosé wine, especially the rosé Militato Prosecco, they taste a little bit bitter. So as Stefania is saying, the cooler the wine, the better the expression. If you go too cold, then you're going to lose all the aroma, and it's going to be very closed. But if you get to about 5 or 6 degrees, it starts to open up, and it allows all the bouquet, the aromas to show, and the flavours to show. So, yes, I kind of agree with what you say. Yes.
Yes, Chris. Yeah. So, you know, that is my favorite part of our tasting, Chris. I'm pretty sure that you know what are you expecting you.
Well, all I've got here is I've got some brie from Asda, which is the big supermarket in the UK. It's creamy French cheese, which usually goes well with Prosecco. But I know that Stefania has got some even more delights to share. So whilst you're going to tell us, I'm going to have some cheese with Prosecco.
Yes, as you know, I have to take the surprise because it's in the fridge. Let me go.
It's in the fridge. I'm going to say cheese and Prosecco, especially Prosecco. Creamy cheese, dry cheese is fantastic with the wine. Rosé and the creamy cheese, I'm going to give a taste now to see what that's like. But normally a good bet is creamy cheeses, but also sometimes cured ham, salami goes very well with Prosecco because it cleanses the palate. Once you've added the meat, it cleanses the palate. Here comes our tutor back from the fridge.
Yes, I'm here.
Yeah. She's going back again.
Yes, I have to show you a lot of things, Chris. So, let me make something a little bit more tidy. Here we are. I'm proud of myself because, as I told you before, I made it by myself. So
you've done some nice food recently. I've seen some lovely pictures of food that you've done, especially the Roma's picture on Instagram.
Yes.
with I think the Montalbini or one of the wines you've done with that.
Yeah,
So
it was Montalbini, Aslo Prosecco that we tasted during the previous episode, and I like it to pair it is that Aslo Prosecco with kind of rose, as a salmon rose made with
yes.
salmon, pumpkin, and a little bit of zucchini. It's
And she says she's not a good cook. So there we go.
No, being Italian, if you compare with other Italian women, no, I'm not really good. I'm okay. I would say I'm okay. So let me see, Chris, if you can see the surprise.
Oh, it's coming. Here it is, and we can just see the top of it.
Let me see here.
Yes.
So it's a typical tagliere all'italiana. This kind of a dish, a complete dish that you can enjoy as an aperitif with Prosecco or other kind of sparkling wines. So this is soppressa. See? Can you see, Chris?
No, you need to point the camera down a little bit more. So we only get half the picture. So
here.
We can we can't see the food. We can see you, but we can't see the food.
And here.
And we have to go lower. We have to go lower a little bit.
You can see it now, Chris. I don't know.
Well, we can't really see it now. You need to point the camera down more.
Okay, let me see. Ah, it's a mess. Here we are.
That's better. That's a little bit better, Stefania. That's it.
Allora,
that looks like a nice big platter of food.
Yes, it's a typical tagliere italiano with soppressa trevigiana, cheese. See, this is kind of crostino with white asparagus cream, and this is a mix of nice vegetables, tomato, pepper, and onion, cauliflower, carrots, courtesy of Nonno Andrea Farmer. And here also there's a bite of cheese with kind of cream ketchup with plum and radicchio di Treviso. It's wonderful, Chris. It's wonderful. And I want to spend, Chris, a few words about this cheese.
Of course, yeah.
See, let me move this tagliere. This cheese, Chris, it's called formaggio imbriago. It's drunk cheese, Chris, and it's called drunk cheese because it's soaked in mark mast for 60 days to over 1 year, and it's completely covered in mark mast, and that kind of process gives very slight unique aromatic aroma and flavors, and is a process, Chris, that goes to the past when the farmers used to cover the cheeses with must during the First World War in order to protect the cheese and to avoid the cheese to be stolen.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah.
Yes. That's a nice story. That's a nice romantic story in a way. It's clever.
Yes. And this specific cheese, Chris, I don't know if you can appreciate the rind. You see the rind?
Yes.
The rind is white in this specific case. This cheese specifically has been soaked in Incrocio Manzoni must. Incrocio Manzoni is kind of a grape variety. I don't know if you know. Have you ever heard about? Incrocio Manzoni is a kind of grape variety original of the province of Treviso. And it's called Incrocio Manzoni because it was a variety created by Luigi Manzoni. It was the professor and the principal of the Istituto Enologico di Conegliano in the province of Treviso. It was
Yes.
the first wine school founded in Italy in 1876. And the principal, early in the previous century, decided to create a cross between the Riesling Renano and Pinot Bianco.
Okay.
Created a unique, brand new grape variety called Incrocio Manzoni that brings the name of the professor that invited this kind of grape variety. And,
this school that you're talking about here, Stefania, I've been to a couple, but the one in Italy, is it the one that's got the nice statue out the front?
Yes,
and
yes.
Big school, and then out the back there's like an old-fashioned bar area, and I've had like dinners in there before. I've been there a few times. It's very old and traditional, and it has some lovely old history, like a museum of collections.
Yes, yes.
And that's where all of the younger students go to learn about the wine industry. And it's a wonderful place. It really is. So I know where you mean, yes.
Yes, it's a very prestigious wine school, Chris, because as I said earlier, it was the first wine school founded in Italy. And so it's very prestigious. And once again, this professor, principal at the time, created this Incrocio Manzoni. I want to show you also, Chris, let me move a little bit, picture in order to let you better understand about the process. See? Can you see, Chris?
I can just about see, yes.
This is the seed and the grape. See the grape seed. Also this used for the soaking process.
Yeah, and Italy's fantastic for cheeses, and France is obviously amazing for cheese, but Italy, the cheese and cured ham is absolutely incredible. It really is. So I'm tasting the cheese, but not really tasting it. From your words, I can taste and feel the cheese. It sounds nice.
Yeah, that's very nice, because also has this kind of aromatic, unique aroma because of this unique soaking process, Chris. And you can appreciate the wine character used to this process. In this case, the Incrocio Manzoni grape variety. Very nice.
I've had a few cheese like that has been influenced by the grape as such, and it's come into the cheese. There was one, I can't remember the name. It's a really fantastic restaurant that you can go to, but it's a shop as well. It sells all different cheeses and meats, and I had a lovely dinner. I don't know if it was with the Prosecco DOC consortium there. And as you say, they've got an amazing selection of cheeses. Some of them are influenced by the must, by the grapes. And you can certainly taste it. Sometimes a lovely honey kind of expression to the cheese. It's very good. It's not good for the diet, but gastronomy delights. It certainly is very good.
Yes, good, Chris. Let me show you, Chris, then, lastly, the Nonno Andrea farmer is the local farmer that gives these vegetables in oil and in vinegar, cream. And this is a local farmer in the province of Treviso that cultivates and produces their own vegetables and fruits, and they make incredible products with their own vegetables and own fruits. See, Chris, let me show you. For example, a lot of wonderful fruit jam. See?
Natural, yes.
I try all of them. So I'm addicted to this jam, yes. Also wonderful cream in order to pair with cheese, as I did today, or with salumi, or with first courses, and all made with vegetables, local vegetables, and it's very, very good local farm. I want to thank for their products for today's tasting.
what we usually do is once we've done a live tasting online here, Stefania writes up about our chat, and she'll include all of the wines in here, the Bottega, the Rosé, the Villasand, the Maison, with the links, and also she'll explain about the foods. So those foods that were very kind to send you samples,
yes, absolutely.
And then people can look to contact them directly if they want to find out more, or they contact Stefania and they can find out more. But I also created yesterday, I think I told you on the WhatsApp, a new page for me and you,
yes.
the Fine Food Fizz. So we've got our own joint page where you can go in and upload some photos, especially the lovely photos of the blossom that you share of where you live. And we'll also update the videos to that channel as well. So yes, well, I think we've done everything. We've done 4 different Prosecco Rosé Melisomatos of 2 different years, 2019 and 2020. Have you got anything you want to finish with, Stefania? Have we got any homework for next week? Are you going to give us any homework as the teacher?
Let me think. Maybe I like to suggest some other food pairings, Chris, with Prosecco Rosé, maybe. I think it's a very versatile wine that you can enjoy as an aperitif, or is always an excellent choice. Or with simple first courses or appetizers. And maybe it's perfect, Chris, with caprese. Have you ever tasted caprese in Italy? It's a dish with tomato, mozzarella, and basil. If you pay attention to these colors, Chris, they are the same colors of the Italian flag. Tomato, red, mozzarella, white, and basil, green. So, also, I tried this Prosecco Rosé with first courses, Chris, like risotto with radicchio, sausage, and also tortelli with duck. Perfect combination. It's perfect. And also I tried this Prosecco Rosé with tortelli with spinach and ricotta cheese. It was a wonderful combination. But I think it's ideal also to pair with raw fish or sushi as well, or maybe pizza. But if I had to select a specific fish, Chris, I would say red mullet. Red mullet with Prosecco Rosé, it's perfect. Believe me, Chris. Try all of these pairings.
I've done the pizza. I must say, I've done the pizza with Prosecco and the Rosé Prosecco. The Rosé Prosecco is really good with a pizza, and a meat pizza. That works very, very well. Not too a nice quality pizza rather than a simple microwave pizza as such, because it reacts well with this slight fattiness, oiliness of the pizza, and it just lets the meat flavors to come through, and it's quite clever on that basis. Yeah, so those foods sound nice. The Italian flag dish sounds very nice. The chopped tomatoes, the cheese. That sounds very, very nice. I can imagine a splash of pumpkin seed oil on top would be nice, or olive oil at least on top. That sounds nice. And I think that's it for episode 3.
Yes.
That's about it.
Yes, I think so, Chris. I was so happy. It was a really pleasure. And once again, I'm happy with this Prosecco Rosé, and I hope the people who live abroad will appreciate this Prosecco Rosé as much as I do. That's my...
I think most countries have got Prosecco Rosé, so wherever you are in the world, you can find it. Or the best place to go is, if you go onto Google and you put the Prosecco DOC, they'll have the main consortium website. Sometimes they have websites for different countries like the USA, but most times if you're interested in buying the wines or dealing with them, it's best to go to the top and to the Prosecco DOC consortium and their members, of which many will produce Rosé, Prosecco, Melisomato.
Yes.
So, yes, well, thanks to all of the wines, thanks to the foods that you had. I'm coming round later for dinner to your house.
Yeah. There's a lot of food, also a lot of wines if you want to come here.
Yes, I'm going to take about a few hours. It's a little bit far, It's a little bit far, but thanks to Stefania for joining us. Thanks to me for joining Stefania. And episode 4, we'll have marketing on the channel soon. We're not sure what that will be, but I'm sure Stefania will come up with a good idea.
Yes, it will be a surprise once again.
You like surprises, that's nice.
Yes. Thank you, Chris. Have a good afternoon. Bye. Bye.
Thank you a lot, Stefania. You take care. Bye-bye.
Bye.